Hello everyone, welcome to the next lab. The link of this lab is given in the description. Once you click on that, you'll reach this landing page and you can see the list of challenges. The first challenge is apology note. Let's see the problem statement. The problem statement here is Nobita has been caught cheating in the test and has been given the punishment to write the given string n number of times on separate lines. Given the string and the number n, help Nobita by completing his punishment. Note, if n is non-positive, print invalid input. So let us see the sample test case. Here the input string is I am sorry and the number given is 10. So we have to write this line 10 times. So let us see how to code this. For taking input, we need to import util package. So I will write import java.util.star. Next, I will make object of scanner class. So I will write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Next, I'll take two inputs. The first input is for string and the next input is for an integer. So first input is string str. Here the string contains white spaces. So for taking string input here, I need to use the function next line so that I can take the complete line as input. I'll use sc.nextLine and the next input is an integer. I'll take an integer variable n and the input will be taken using the function nextInt. So I'll write sc.nextInt. Now for printing the string n number of times, we will use a for loop. I'll initialize the loop variable with 1 and I'll run this loop till I is less than or equal to n. And the update part will be I++. Now with this, we have made a loop which starts from 1 and goes till n, and every time the loop variable is incremented by 1. So for example, if I have n is equals to 5, this loop will start from 1 and go till 5 by incrementing 1 each time. So the loop variable will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So now inside this, I will print the string. So the string will be printed n number of times. So I'll write system.out.println because here we have to print the string in separate lines. And in the argument, I'll pass the variable str. Now in this for loop, we have printed the string n number of times. Now we are given a note, if n is non-positive, we need to print invalid input. So if n is non-positive, this means that n is either negative or 0. In that case, this loop will not run. So in that case, we need to print invalid input. So whenever we take the input n here, we will check if n is less than or equal to 0. In this case, we will print. So I'll write system.out.print invalid input. Let us try to run this code now. The sample test cases have passed. Let us now submit it. All the test cases have passed. Moving on to the next question. The next question is sum of first n natural numbers. Codeman is trapped and needs your help. Evelini has locked him inside a dungeon. The password to the lock is sum of first n natural numbers. Help him escape. Note, if n is non-positive, output should be invalid input. So if I have the input 10, I'll need to print the output as sum of numbers from 1 to 10, that is 55. So the output is 55. Let's see the next test case. When the input is 3, that means I need the sum from 1 to 3. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. So the output in this case is 6. Let us code this. In this case, we have already imported the util package. We will start by making object of scanner class. I'll write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Now I will take an integer variable n as input using sc.nextInt function. Now I want to calculate the sum of numbers from 1 to n. How will I do that? Now first condition I will check is if the input is non-positive. So if n is less than or equal to 0, In this case, I will directly print invalid input. So I will write system.out.print invalid input. Now if n is non-positive, I need to calculate the sum. I'll take variable int sum. For calculating the sum, I will need a for loop. I'll take a for loop. I will start the for loop by initializing the loop variable to 1, and this loop variable will continue as long as it is less than or equal to n, I plus plus. Now what I'll do inside this for loop, to the initial value of sum, I will add I and store this value in sum. We will start by taking this sum as 0. So first I value will become 1. 1 is added to the sum becomes 1. I becomes 2. 2 is added to the sum. Next I becomes 3. 3 is added to the sum. I value will keep on incrementing until I value reaches n. So all the numbers from 1 to n are added in the sum variable, and then we will get the final sum as output. Here we are using the initial value of sum. So whenever we use an initial value, we need to initialize that variable. So the starting value for sum should be 0. So whenever we declare a variable sum, we should initialize it to 0. Now I will add I each time to the sum variable. So I'll write sum plus is equals to I. Sum plus is equals to I means sum is equals to sum plus I. Now the sum is calculated. Here I will print sum value. I'll write system.out. I'll write system.out.print sum. I'll do whole of this part only when n is positive. So we can write this part inside the else block. Else. Let us try to run this code. The sample test cases have passed. Moving on to submitting it. All the test cases have passed. Moving on to the next question. The next question is sum of numbers in a given range. Here we need to find the sum of numbers in the given range. Input format is we will be given two integers which denote the start and end of a range. In previous question we calculated the sum of first n natural numbers. So in that question the start of the range was 1 and the end of the range was n. Here we will be given two numbers, start as well as end. We need to calculate the sum of numbers in that range from start to end. So let us see the sample test case. The first sample test case is 10, 20. In this test case, I need to output the sum of numbers from 10 to 20. That is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. So the sum is 165. In the next test case, the start is 2 and the end is 3. So I need to start the sum from 2 and go up to 3. So I'll calculate the sum for 2 and 3. So the output is 5. So let us start coding this. Util package is already imported. We'll make object of scanner class. Scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Now I will take two integer variables, start and end. Int start comma end. So the start will be taken input as sc.nextInt and end will be taken as sc.nextInt. Here I will declare a variable sum. Here also I need to use the initial value of sum, so I will initialize this variable to 0. Now my for loop will start from start. So I'll initialize the loop variable to start and I'll continue it up to end and I will increment the value of I by 1. So here I will write sum is equals to sum plus I, and after the for loop I will print the value of sum. So I'll write system.out.print sum. Let us try to run this. The sample test cases have passed. Let us submit this now. All the test cases have passed. Moving on to the next question. The next question is multiplication table. Shinchan is weak in mathematics. His homework is to write multiplication tables. The format of printing can be seen from the sample test cases. Given the number n whose table has to be printed, help him by printing the table on the screen. So in the input we will be given an integer, and in the output we need to print its multiplication table. So for example, when the input is 2, we need to print the table of 2 from 1 to 10. So let us see how we will code this. First we will start by importing util package. So I'll write import java.util.star. Next we will make object of scanner class. So we will write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Next I'll take an integer variable n. So int n is equals to sc.nextInt. Now I have to print table of n from 1 to 10. So I'll start the loop from 1 to 10. So for int I is equals to 1 and I less than equals to 10, I plus plus. Now what do I need to print? I need to print first the variable n, then I need to print this multiplication sign, then the loop variable I, then the equal to sign, and at last I need to output the product. So this part is a variable, this part is a variable, and this part is a variable. This is string, so I need to write it in double quotes. This is also a string, I need to write it in double quotes, and I will concatenate these variables with the string using plus sign. So I'll write system.out.println because I need to print every output in a new line. The first thing I need to print is variable n. Next I need to print a string for multiply. I'll write that in double quotes. So space x and space, and I'll concatenate this with the variable n with a plus sign. After the string I need to write the variable I. This will be written without double quotes and I'll concatenate it with plus sign. After I again have a string, so I'll use a plus sign and double quotes for the string. The string is equals to, and in the last I need to write the variable that is n multiplied by I. So I'll write the value of n into I here and I'll put the semicolon sign. Let us try to run this code. The sample test cases have passed. Let us submit this now. All the test cases have passed. Moving on to the next question. The next question is power of a number. Given a number and its power in integer, calculate the answer using for loop. So in the input we are given two numbers, base in double and power in integer. And the output format is a double value should be outputted up to 2 decimal places. Let's see the first sample test case. The base is 2 and the power is 3. So 2 raised to power 3 is 8. So the answer is 8.00. In next test case, we have base as 5 and the power as 4. So 5 raised to power 4 is 625 and we are displaying it up to 2 decimal places. So let's see the code. First, we will import the util package. So import java.util.star. Next, we will make object of the scanner class. So I'll write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Now I have to take two inputs. The first one is in double. So I'll write double base is equals to sc.next double and integer power is equals to sc.nextInt. We have taken the input, we can close the scanner object. Now I want to calculate base raised to power p. So depending upon the value of p, we can have three values. First one is if p is positive. If p is positive, so I will multiply b p number of times. If p is 0, anything raised to power 0 is 1, and if p is negative, we will multiply by 1 by b p number of times. Now we'll declare a variable for answer. So let us say I make a double variable because I have to display the answer in double. So double answer is equals to 1. Now the first case is if power is positive. So if power is greater than 0, in this case I'll multiply answer with base p number of times. For multiplying p number of times, I'll use a for loop. I'll write int I is equals to 1, I less than equal to power I plus plus, and inside the for loop I'll write answer is equals to answer multiplied by base. The next case is if power is less than 0. So if power is less than 0, in this case I'll write a for loop for int I is equals to 1. Now if power is minus 2, I need to run the loop up to 2. So I'll use the absolute value of power. I'll write math dot absolute value of power I plus plus. In this case I'll write answer is equals to answer multiplied by 1 divided by base. Now if power is 0, I do not need to change anything. Answer is initialized to 1. It will be printed as such. So I'll directly print answer here. So system.out.printf, because I have to format the output, and the format should be %.2f and the variable name is answer. Let us try to run this. So the sample test cases have passed. Let us submit the code. So all the test cases have passed. Moving on to the next question. The next question is series with a twist. Find the first n terms of the following series. We are given a series and the input integer n. In the output we need to print the first n terms of the series. Let us first see how this series can be formed. So the series is 0, 0, 2, 1, 4, 2, 6, 3, 8 and so on. So this is 0th term, 1st term, 2nd term, 3rd term, 4th term, 5th term, 6th, 7th and 8th term. So if I observe the even number of terms 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8 and so on, you will see the term is exactly the index. So the 0th term is 0, 2nd term is 2, 4th term is 4, 6th term is 6 and 8th term is 8. What about the series with the odd indexes? So if I have 1, the term is 0. For 3 I have 1. For 5 I have 2. For 7 I have 3. So if the index is I, the term is I by 2. So let us try to code this now. Here util package is already imported. Let us start by making object of scanner class. So I will write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. We will take an input integer n, sc.nextInt, and I can close the scanner object. Now I have to print first n terms. If I want to print 5 terms, I'll start from index 0 and go till index 4. For printing up to n terms, I'll write the loop as for int I is equals to 0, I less than n, because I want I to go till n minus 1, I plus plus. Now here I'll check if my index is even. So if I mod 2 equal to 0, in this case my term is I. So I'll write system.out.print I, and after printing the term I need to give a space. In the else block, that means when my index is odd, I'll print I by 2. So I'll write system.out.print I by 2 and then I'll give a space. So let us try to run this. So the sample test case has passed. Let's submit this. All test cases have passed. Let's see the next question. The next question is game of series. In this question, we are again given a series and we want to find the first n terms of the series. Let us see the series. The series is 0, 0, 7, 6, 14, 12, 21, 18 and so on. So now if this is index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, 5, 6, 7. So now if we want to see a pattern, again I can see this series is a mixture of two different series. So if I see the even indexes 0, 2, 4, 6. So the even terms are multiples of 7. So with 0 I am multiplying 0 by 7, for 2 I am multiplying 1 by 7, for 4 I am multiplying 2 by 7, for 6 I am multiplying 3 by 7. So for even indexes I am multiplying I by 2 into 7. For odd terms, 1 it is 0, 3 it is 6, for 5 it is 12, so it is multiplied by 6. So I by 2 is multiplied by 6. So suppose my I is 3. If I divide 3 by 2 into 6, 3 by 2 will give me 1 because of integer division. So 1 into 6 will give me 6. If I write it in opposite, if I write 6 into I by 2 in this case, now 6 into 3 will become 18. 18 by 2 will give me 9. So this 6 into I by 2 is not equal to I by 2 into 6. The reason is I is odd, so I is not divisible by 2 and I by 2 will give me the floor value. Whereas if I multiply 6 initially, 6 into I will become an even number and this will be divisible by 2. Let us code it now. Util package is already imported. I'll start by making object of scanner class. So I'll write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. I'll take an integer input. So int n is equals to sc dot next int. And for printing first n terms, I'll start from 0 and go till n minus 1. So I'll start my loop variable I from 0 and I'll go till I less than n. I'll write an if condition. So if I is divisible by 2, that is the even index, for that I'll write system.out.print. Now I want to print I by 2 into 7 in this case. So I'll write I by 2 into 7. And after this, I'll give a space. Here division will happen first because of the associativity. So I by 2 will be calculated first and then it will be multiplied by 7. So in the else block, I'll print system.out.print I by 2 into 6 and after this I'll give a space. Let's run this code. The sample test cases have passed. Let us submit this. All the test cases have passed. Moving on to the last question of this lab. The last question is series. Here we are given a series and we have to find the nth term of the series. We need not print the first n terms, we just have to find the nth term. Now the series here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 8, 27, 16, 81 and so on. Now here we are given that the first term is at index 1. So this is index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and so on. Now this series is also a mixture of two different series. If I see the even indexes 2, 4, 6, 8, all of these are powers of 2. So if the index is I, the term is 2 raised to power I by 2. For index 2, I have 2 raised to power 1. For index 4, I have 2 raised to power 2. For index 6, I have 2 raised to power 3. For index 8, I have the term as 2 raised to power 4. Let us see the odd index terms. So if the index I is odd, it is power of 3. So index 1, it is 3 raised to power 0. For index 3, I have 3 raised to power 1. Index 5, I have 3 raised to power 2. So the index value is I by 2. Now if I want to find out the nth term, the index will be n. So now if this n is odd, I'll calculate 3 raised to power n by 2. If this n is even, I'll calculate 2 raised to power n by 2. Let's try to code this. Util package is already imported. I'll start by making scanner class object. So I'll write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Next I'll take n as input. Now I'll use an if block to check if this n is even or odd. So if n is even, let's declare a variable term, int term. If n is even, this term will be equal to 2 raised to power n by 2. So I'll calculate it using math.power 2 raised to power n by 2. So now math.power gives the result in double, so we need to typecast it into integer. In the next case, in the else part, the term will be equal to math.power 3 raised to power n by 2. In this case also, I need to typecast this to integer. In the end, I just need to output this term. So I'll write system.out.print term. Let's run this code. The sample test cases have passed. Let's submit this. All the test cases have passed. So this completes our lab 7. Thank you for watching. See you in the next lecture.